Hey everybody, Dr. Colleen Sierra here. I am the founder and executive director of Sierra Center for Behavioral Health as well as Sierra Center Consulting. Here today to talk to you about boundaries. That is kind of our theme for this month. With the holidays coming up and everybody's gearing up to see family, that can be a really fun, nice thing for some people or some of the time, but that can be a difficult thing for others. And so setting boundaries feels like a really important thing to talk about at this time of year. So I think that when people hear the word boundaries or think about the idea of setting boundaries, that can conjure up some feelings of, I don't know, I need to have a really intense, difficult, conflictual conversation with somebody who I love or who loves me. And I mean, who wants to do that? Sounds really unpleasant. But that's not the only way that you can set boundaries. And so today I want to talk to you about 3 different things that you can do to set boundaries that do not involve like this big production that's going to cause all sorts of discomfort. So the first one is to communicate with your behavior, not your words. So again, I think we have this idea that I need to say something. I need to let somebody know, like, I'm setting a boundary with you. And sometimes you have to do that. And sometimes you don't have to do that. And sometimes it's just not as helpful to use your words. And your behavior is often far more powerful. So let's think about this example. If you are trying to get some distance from someone, you might know that in your head and you might say that to people in your life, but what's your behavior communicating to the person you're trying to get distance from? Are you in the habit of responding as soon as they call, text, or email you? You might be, because maybe that's how your relationship worked in the past, but if you're trying to get distance from someone, perhaps you should put some distance between the time that they try to contact you and the time that you respond to their contact. So something to think about. Are you still in the habit of scheduling plans really regularly? Perhaps this was somebody that they were the first person you reached out to for any fun thing that came along or whatever, or whenever you're sad. If you're trying to change that, you might still be in the habit of reaching out regularly, even though you're trying to get some distance. So again, you guys get the idea. This is just something to think about. So it's less about the words that are coming out of your mouth and more about what your feet are doing. What is your behavior communicating? So be mindful of that. The second one is you can try saying no without offering an explanation. So I think half the time we don't even realize how much we are constantly justifying every single decision that we make, every single thing that comes out of our mouth, and we just don't have to do that. I mean, period. Even with people who we aren't trying to set like really firm boundaries with. But this, I think we do it more often when we're in maybe a less than healthy or toxic relationship, because those kinds of relationships make us feel insecure, they make us feel guilty. And so we're worried about our decision, we're worried about upsetting somebody. So simply saying no without any explanation, it just changes the power dynamic, it levels the playing field a bit. And it sends the message that you have choice and agency, and that you're not willing to be impacted if somebody is upset with you for a silly reason. So saying no without explanation is a really nice way to try setting a boundary. So this one's going to sound simple, but lots of us really struggle with it, myself included. This is say what you need and ask for what you want. It's that simple and hard all at the same time. Say what you need and ask for what you want. I think a lot of us, myself included, engage in the practice of mind reading, where we think this is what the other person is thinking or feeling, and this is how I'm gonna address that, but we've never even gotten input from the other person, which is, kind of silly. So we make all of these assumptions, and a lot of them are probably incorrect. So when you want something, just ask. Just ask for it. I'm constantly talking to my 7-year-old about this, who feels like he can't ask unless he knows that we're gonna say yes. So he's like always like, I think you're gonna say no. We're like, buddy, just ask for what you want, say what you need. And yeah, we're gonna say no every now and then, but that's okay. Like, you'll learn to live with that too, and you will learn to live with that too. I am learning to live with that as well. So I think it's just important to practice. It sounds easier said than done, but the more we get in the habit of doing this, the better we're going to feel. And we're also going to see that the world keeps spinning, that people aren't upset with us, that we feel better because we don't feel like we're constantly neglecting our own needs because we think we're going to upset somebody else. We can just be in the world and only be responsible for us, and everybody else can just be responsible for them. And that's a lovely way to set boundaries too. So hope this was helpful, gives you something to think about. Thanks so much, guys.